Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Rutherford Pascal, founder and CEO of Glass Walls Leadership, where he empowers leaders to reach their full potential through transformative leadership strategies. With over 30 years of experience in Fortune 100 companies, Rutherford helps good leaders become great through impactful keynotes, dynamic training sessions, and focused one-on-one coaching. How you doing today, Rutherford?
Hey, great. How you doing?
Pretty good. It's first thing. I got my coffee. I'm excited to get the day started here with you. I really enjoyed our previous conversation, and I was excited to have you on. There's some people out there that probably should know you. So to start off, where are you located? Where are you calling in from?
I am calling in from Scottsdale, Arizona. A slightly chilly Scottsdale, Arizona. Uh, so you got to understand in Scottsdale, if it's chilly, if it's under 50. So
Mm.
that's we are soft in Scottsdale.
Yeah, we have different meanings for chili. Um, but I got you. Awesome. All right, have you been there forever, or are you newer to the area?
I've been here. I went to school in Arizona State. I've been here since 2020, the second time. Now, and this is we have my wife and I love it here.
That's awesome. So, if you have friends coming into town, where are you guys going? What are you doing, and where are you going for dinner?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. So depends on what kinds of friends. So, because this is known for golfing, right? I live around um, I mean 12 golf courses within 20-minute drive of each other. If it's in the summer, so spring training starting, and I literally live 6-minute drive from where the Giants, the Cubs play different directions, but I can get to that in 6-minute drive for both of them. So it depends on that. Where I'm eating is Old Town Scottsdale. Old Town Scottsdale is like the mecca of the area. It's where everybody goes. If you remember when we had the Super Bowl here a few years back, 2 years back, it wasn't that when it was rematched to the Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs won that game. Well, ESPN located themselves in Old Town Scottsdale because that's where you want to be when you're in Scottsdale.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It sounds fun. But what can you tell us about what you're doing?
So I spent like I think you said it right. I spent 30 years in leadership and and that whole time what I did was uh, help people grow their career, build leaders, and so I just took what I did for 30 years in the corporate setting and brought it out and with my own company, helping people become great. People don't realize how good they are. They don't realize how great they are and what the value they're bringing to the organizations that they work with and the people that they serve. They just don't realize that. I see that all the time when I talk to them. So I try to show them, help them understand that they're really good or great. And here's some things to do to be even better, create greater culture, create greater retention, and really drive results for both themselves and their company.
Okay. Well, what got you started here? You were doing that for 30 years, and all of a sudden, you kind of want to go and do it yourself. What was that journey like?
So, so it's the impact of people. So there's when you work for a company, you have a really focused a locus of people that you impacted, the people that for me it was about 500 people, right? Which was seems like a lot, right? Seems like a lot of people. Um, but when you go on your own, there's an opportunity to help thousands, if not millions. If and that's the goal, is to help more people um, be better leaders. And the other thing in the corporate world, I can build leaders, but that's probably 10 to 20% of my time. The other times I have to do other things, you're in meetings, multiple meetings, do other things, growing business, which is spectacular. But here I can focus specifically on people and specifically on learning about them, helping them grow, and just showing them things that were successful with me that I know will be successful with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Being able to narrow down what you've really enjoyed the most and trim the rest of it off and focus on, leadership development. I love that. What is it that you love most about what you're doing right now?
Um, the freedom to work with the people I want to work with, people that work with the people that want to grow. There's a time you can't want growth for somebody more than they want it for themselves, right? And I want to work with people that really want to grow, really want to grow, and sometimes don't see how good they are, right? So I, uh, and if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to grow, if you want to grow, that's the person, and it doesn't matter what level. So I don't, because at the level I got to, people think that I might only want to work with senior executives and C-suite people. That is not true. I want to work with people at every level that have that same mindset. It's to me, it's more about mindset than level of accomplishments. That means very little to me. What means more to me is is somebody that really wants to go. I was in an event last night. I was talking to a couple of gentlemen, and one person was just starting out. He's having his first job, and he wanted to know what do I need to do, and his excitement, his, I mean, that energizes that because that person will listen, will grow, and will be great because he wants to be great. He wants to invest back in himself, and he wants advice from somebody that's 130 years old like me that can help him.
Well, you don't look a day over 110. No, no.
Thank you,
So,
thank you. I appreciate it.
no,
It's a
no,
lot of
no.
cream, a lot of cream.
No, no, that's absolutely right. It doesn't matter what accomplishments you already have. It's what your mindset is going to determine what ones you can have. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, no, that energy, that coachability, that desire to do good things. That's important, and I like that. What does your average client look like? What are the pain points that somebody might be going through that if they're dealing with X, Y, Z, you're the person that they should be talking to?
The pain point is typically they're stuck. They're stuck in whatever. There's probably there's everyone's got slightly different. The typical thing is that they're stuck and they want to level up some way, some shape or form, and um, they need they don't see a path to the next thing, whatever that is, right? And I typically the path is very simple, right? And and sometimes things that are happening to you are very acute issues, and sometimes we catastrophize. Like we think things are, we play a country song in our head, right? Where it's over, car, girlfriend, everything is just like starts to roll, and it's typically I have to talk to them about what if we did this and this happened. Oh, yeah, it'd be great, right? And so a lot of it is changing their mindset, right? About what to what could happen, what should happen if we do this, and like I said before, mindset's huge. I talk about it. I try to help people with their mindset, but that's the typical thing is they feel stuck. They don't see a path forward, and there's there's so many options. The other thing is, here's the second uh, thing I get is people who would have multiple things and they don't know how to choose. There's a choice, and they're stuck in what you know which is going to take them further, which is going to benefit the most, and so both of those would be the areas that are typical.
Okay. What does your average power partner look like? What are some industries or other professionals that you might find a lot of collaborations working with?
What so the um, it's typically people like event planners. It's people, HR professionals, talent professionals, that I'm working with a lot now. When I say talent, like talent acquisition, so a lot of companies have people who work on staffing or talent at companies, and I can help them either a leadership development program together at their organization. Right, I can help them if they're doing leadership training for their first, second, or third line leaders. That would be good. So HR professionals, event planners, leaders in organizations, because every organization's different about who runs that. Could be the CEO, probably not. Could be the chief commercial officer. Could be the head of HR. Could be just the head of sales, and then training and development. So yeah, so it just depends on the industry, but those are the typical ones for if I want to do a speaking, it's typically the event planners or um, sales, right? If I want to do a leadership training, it's typically training and development or HR.
Okay. What advice would you give a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Buckle up. Uh, a newer expired art. So the most important thing, Anthony, in something is um, this belief you have to have in yourself. You have to have an irrational belief in your ability. In whatever you go into, you can't go there, thinking that uh, that maybe this will work. I don't know if I'm good enough. That's not what you can't do that, right? You have to have an irrational belief. See, if you think about things that are great in the world and and companies that are successful, it's irrational. They don't think that they're going to be um, unsuccessful. They have this outsized belief that things are going to go, and sometimes to the detriment, but most of the time it works, right? But if you think about this person in the 70s said that there was going to be you're going to carry your computer in your hand. You're like, that's crazy. And the computer was going to be more powerful than Apollo 11. Really? In the set, a person said in the 70s, that person's name was Steve Jobs, right? And by the way, cell phones weren't even invented yet, right? But he had that vision, that vision was irrational, right? And if you think about every single thing that this medium that you and I are talking on, just think about that. 20 years ago, this is an irrational belief. So when somebody goes into an entrepreneurial endeavor, you have to have that belief in yourself. You just can't let anything get in your way. You cannot let get anything but that is it all starts with the belief that you're going to make a difference. And what I'll tell you is what the most important thing is the people that you serve. Your if you're going to be successful, Anthony, you're not thinking about the money you're making, or people that have that belief. The only time those people it works for them is serendipity. Every once in a while, the blind squirrel nut theory. Okay, um, this the majority of people succeed very, very well when they hear about the outcomes of others. What my product, what my service is going to do for that person, their lives improve dramatically. Right? They've made a huge difference in the world. For me, in the pharmaceutical industry was about either saving lives or improving lives. And if I knew the product that I was selling was going to do one, two of those, and I had many, many stories where I had patients come up to me unannounced, and they knew that I sold this product that they were on, and they were showing me. Let me tell you this quick story. Anthony. Um, in the '90s, the late '90s, I was selling this product for psoriasis. It was a topical. It was good, really good product. It was the $5 billion pharmaceutical drug, and I was in a hotel, and I was checking in, and the person behind said, "Oh yeah, you're working at this company," and he told me, "Hey, hey, I got to show you this." And he sort of gets around the corner, comes out, and he pulls his pants, put pant leg up. And I'm like, what is going on? Right? And he goes, look. I go, okay. And he just showed me his leg, his knee, and stuff. And he was so excited. And he goes, I said, that's great. He goes, you don't understand. There was a huge plaque. There was a stuff before you were created. Before what this thing did to me, I'm so happy for that. So when you do something that people are so crazy about that they will come around and pull their pants up so you can see, that's the kind of thing that makes you want to do what you want to do more, because you want to help more of those people who are suffering with whatever it is that your product can help get better. So that's why you want to get into to entrepreneurial. If you can make a difference, a true difference for people, that's what you want to get into, because you'll have fun.
No, that's absolutely true. There is something a little bit crazy or audacious about thinking that I can make this thing that doesn't exist, or I can make this thing better than anybody else, right? Because it takes a little bit of an ego there, and I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurs get that thing, is because they have that mindset going, no, what I'm doing is better than what's out there, and it's going to be more valuable for the people that I want to help. So fantastic advice there. How can leaders transform from good to great through effective leadership strategies?
So first of all, they have to want to, right? It's like I said before, they have to want to, and they have to. So the thing that makes good leaders great is this word called listening. So they have to listen to their people, they have to listen to their customers, and they have to listen to the environment, whatever it is, right? If you triangulate those three things together, you're going to be a great leader, because then you're making less bad decisions, because listening, it will get you there. Sometimes we have a thought that this is the right way to go. Okay, I got my MBA, I've done this, and then I've done that. In school, they said to do it this way. That was school, right? The real world in your market could be much different than everything you went through. So in order to really make a great decision and be a great leader, right, you have to listen intently. And And when I say intently, I mean intently. It's listening without judgment, listening for answers, because what happens sometimes is ego gets involved, and then we think we know the answers before we ask the question. And if you listen, the answers will appear, and you'll be like, "Oh, you should go left instead of right, because here's what here's what these three things are telling me. They all tell me the same thing. I just have to actually be willing to listen and subordinate my ego, and let's go. Let's make the right thing. Because if you, one of the things I've always talked to people when when you're in a group and they're talking about what we should do and there's a disagreement, I go, what's the goal? Okay, what's the goal? It's to get things to patients faster, get do more. Just what's the one little goal? And if the argument doesn't feed that goal, then why are we doing it? So that's really really important, is figuring out what the goal is, and then you'll get there, and it'll make it a much easier decision.
Okay. How does impactful leadership help organizations improve retention and culture?
How's that's impactful leadership keeps, if you're a great leader and create a great culture, people will stay. So the number one reason people leave companies is leaders, managers. Typically, they're direct manager, but sometimes the manager's above that because they don't see a future for them, right? So if you're impactful, and um, you can make you can keep great people, and by the way, great people. Because there's people are going to leave, right, for different events, and because spouse gets a promotion, spouse has to do this in a different state. That happens, right? Some life events outside of that, so you're going to get some attrition, which is natural. Um, I will tell you that if you care about people, you'll keep people, and you care about people by listening to them, giving them a voice so they're heard. People want to be heard. They want to be listened to. So if you're a leader that doesn't do that, they're not going to stay, Anthony. They're the impactful leadership listens, like I've mentioned before, um, but then they give the the team, the people that they lead, the people, and the entire organization a voice, so they feel part of that. If you're if you know if a company is growing and you understand that your role is vital to them to make this thing grow, you feel great. You feel part of it, and you want to stay, right? If you don't understand why you're doing this work and it doesn't get rewarded at all, you are. Have you watched? You know what a TPS report is? You ever seen it?
I don't know specifically. It sounds familiar.
Well, it's a funny thing from a movie years ago. It's a report that TPS and means nothing, and it goes nowhere, and everyone is it's kind of a joke thing, right? Like, oh, I got to do TPS report, meaning I, I'm doing something that doesn't mean anything, right? You want to do things that are meaningful, that drive the um, corporation, your division or what forward, and creates greater impact. If you know that you're adding value at any in any way, shape, matter, or form, you feel great. So if think about this, right? If you're a janitor in a hospital, and that your job is to clean, make this room very, very clean for patience. And you understand that the people that come in here, because of your cleanliness, have a better chance to get better. You understand, and if people let you know that, hey man, that thank you for what you do, you're a vital part of how we get people from sick to well, that you feel important. It doesn't matter the job, Anthony. It matters that you feel valued and you feel important, and you play a huge role in driving the whole outcome of the organization or company.
So, yeah, leadership is so often overlooked, but you know a good one when you see one, and you know a bad one when you see one. A lot of people they're promoted to it, and they're just expected to pick up that role and do well. But it's a skill. I mean, to an extent, there's some people that are born that are more natural. That maybe they have that little bit of charisma that helps them. But I imagine it's all learnable, right? You can go from nothing to a really good leader, a great leader.
Yeah.
So it's really important, and I think people need to focus more on that. You're going to be putting people in positions of leadership, and you're expecting results that without training you're not going to get. Just like if you were just like a middle school coach, right, and then you drop them in the NFL, how are you going to do? There's a gap there. You need to train. So no, that's awesome. Is there anything that I missed or failed to ask that you wanted to add?
Yeah, so the one thing, Anthony, I can talk about is right now I'm working on a book that I think is going to be very beneficial for many leaders and potential leaders. What I've noticed is that there's a lot of leaders that don't want to step forward because they don't want to do what they perceive they need to do to be a leader, and that perception is they have to um, kiss somebody's butt to really get there. They have to not be themselves. They have to be inauthentic to get to that spot, and it's just not worth their time to be inauthentic. They don't want to do it, and one of the questions I was asked most in the last 5 years is, how did I get to the levels that I got to in organizations? What did I do? And it was one word. It was value. And they what do you mean by that? You didn't have to be extra nice to any. No, I had to I had to create value and let people know that I was creating value, and without without it being, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. So I'm writing this book to help people get there and show them how easy it is. I'll tell you a quick story. I was working with a person at a Fortune 5, not 500, Fortune 5 company last year, and he was what I call he was in the people pile. Right, he was just one of the leaders, just like you know, not no, and he was frustrated. He was doing well, but he wanted to get those. So I told him to do two things, two small things that would take him 10 minutes a week of time, no time, right? And he did those two things, and 2 months later, he gets assigned this tremendous project, the biggest project in the organization at that and in that division. And he wouldn't have gotten. He told me he wouldn't have gotten it without him doing those two things. And it was really easy. And that's what my book's about, right? My book's about how do you create value? How do you separate yourself from I call it the sea of sameness, and get promoted or just get paid more, right? And it's through these three things: preparation, intentionality, and differentiation. Right? And this happens at every level. This is why people get promoted. Normally, people get promoted is they do one of those three things very well, or a couple in combination very well. So my book's about how do you do that and be completely authentic. And then when you get to be that leader, you are great. You are, 'cause there's so many great leaders that never step forward. And I want those people to step forward, because that's what the world needs. That we need greater joy in our workforce. And by getting these leaders who will be great, who we know are great, but they say, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I can't do that because I think I have to do this. That's what the book's about. That's what the book's for.
Okay. So the people that want to add more value, be great, be better leaders, where can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
So um, it's Rutherford at glasswallsleadership.com, or my website is glasswallsleadership.com. Very, very simple. I'm on LinkedIn. I do 5 posts a week, so I'm fairly active on LinkedIn, and you can find me. I think I'm the only Rutherford Pascal on LinkedIn. There might be one. I doubt it. I think I'm the only one on LinkedIn with those crazy names.
Perfect. If anybody would like to get a hold of Rutherford, do it. Be a better leader. Add more value. Find a way to, be great. That's what we're all doing. If we're in entrepreneurship, we want to create something like we said before. Be crazy. Be a little audacious, saying that I can do something better than everybody else on the planet. Look at me. It takes a bit of that. So reach out, have that conversation. You're going to walk away knowing more than you do going in. So please do. I'm going to put all that in the show notes so it's super easy to find. You don't have to look real hard for it. And if somebody would like to get a hold of me, you can reach me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community of awesome people like Rutherford. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Rutherford, I really appreciate you taking the time, coming on, talking with us, because leadership, like I said before, it's you notice it when it's really good or when it's really bad. So you want to be on that end of the bell curve. You want to be the ones that are memorable for doing the right things the right way. So really awesome that there's people out there doing like what you're doing, helping people in those spaces. So let's all go out, let's take it to heart, have an awesome day, and grow our circles. All right.
Thanks, Anthony.